I've spent 3 months with a Nintendo Switch 2. I've played multiple games with it, and I've even had friends over to compete in Mario Kart. And after all that time, here's everything I've learned from owning the Switch 2. We shall go over the good and the bad of this device, and at the end of this video, you will decide whether to consider one or not. The Nintendo Switch 2 is 3 months old, and although people had mixed reactions on whether or not it was worth it, the console has sold incredibly well throughout its time. I wish I could complain, but despite my disinterest in the console following the initial pricing and launch date reviews, I accidentally ended up with one. But after 3 months, the question remains, is the Nintendo Switch 2 actually worth owning, or will you end up regretting it after you've spent some time with it? Well, that's not a question that can be definitely answered for everyone. I can at least offer my own experience with the console. But before we get into it, guys, make sure to hit the subscribe button and leave a like or dislike. It really helps out. I also get to know which videos you guys like and don't like. Let's get into it. Now, getting into the design of the Switch 2, the console has improved by a mile in terms of design, build quality, comfort and usability compared to the original Switch. One of the biggest upgrades of the Switch 2 is the 7.9 display. It's wide and larger, slightly larger than the original Switch. It supports a 1080p resolution, 120Hz and HDR. This is an upgrade from the original Switch, which had a 720p screen and only 60Hz refresh rate. On the Switch 2, the display is bright enough, especially in games like Mario Kart and Zelda. Well, it's not perfect, but it's a nicer upgrade from the original. I think going into this, I had to turn off my nerdiness of wanting a powerful console like handhelds. But I remember this is Nintendo. You gotta slow down. But when you factor in that this is a new console, you start to nitpick a bit. The Joy-Cons have been improved. They are larger compared to the original. They are magnetic, meaning they are attached to the Switch perfectly. The dock has also been improved with HDMI 2.1 support, 4K 60 support. Powering the Switch 2 is the custom Nvidia chip, which comes with 12 gigs of RAM and 56 storage. There are some cool features I enjoyed using on the Switch 2. Nintendo has built a great system of finding your Joy-Cons in case you lose them. Under the controller settings, there is an option to locate your Joy-Cons by tapping one of the Joy-Cons and they will start to vibrate. You can take this further by just holding onto one Joy-Con and they will start to make a sound and vibrate at the same time. There is also mouse support, meaning navigating your system or playing games using your Joy-Con as a mouse is possible with the Switch 2. It's fast and responsive and I like it. Now let's talk about the issues of the Switch 2. At first, the display was okay for me, but now time has passed and I'm kinda disappointed that the LCD is still not bright enough. If you're used to an OLED screen, going back to an LCD panel seems like a downgrade. The viewing angles are not great. You can't use it outside in bright sunlight and there are these washed out grays because it's an LCD screen. Do regular Switch users care about this? No. But for what you are paying for, you start to wonder if Nintendo just doesn't care and they want more money, because rest assured, the Switch 2 OLED is coming in the future. There are better options out there that can provide good displays for the same price. Also, I find it funny that the Switch 2 isn't being utilized to use its technologies. The 120Hz isn't locked across the whole system, only particular games, which is a bummer really. 120Hz was the main highlight, and yet only 120Hz content is the Switch 2 Welcome Tour and Metroid Prime, which comes out in December. VRR isn't supported in dark mode even when your TV supports it. Only games like Welcome Tour and Star Wars Outlaws are the only games that use it. This implies to DLSS, which Cyberpunk 2077 is the only game using it. Even Nintendo games don't use DLSS. Battery life is a big miss in some games. At 70% brightness, I was getting around 2 hours in Cyberpunk 2077. You can get better battery life in less demanding games, but it starts to feel like the original Switch. I was hoping for something more powerful overall, but like I said, I keep forgetting this is a Nintendo product. When it comes to charging, the Switch 2 sucks. Oh my god, how does a console like a Switch 2 take 3 hours to charge? In 2025, almost every device has fast charging. On the Switch 2, it takes a long time to charge. What's funny, the Switch 2 takes longer to charge than it lasts. One of the biggest talking points about the value of the Switch 2 is the price, and that will likely continue to be a point of contention. So, does the $450 price tag feel worth it to me now? I'll say this, it doesn't feel outrageous. Yes, it's a little bit high when compared to the original Switch, but I think there has been enough improvement to warrant a price increase of this sort. Perhaps not quite so close as to be $50 away from the current gen platforms, but I think it will easily work out worthwhile in the long run. As more Nintendo games come out, we can hope to see the console utilized in the best ways. Similarly, as more ports like Cyberpunk 2077 come along, it will only prove the capabilities of the console further, making it a solid choice amidst the modern gaming market. And that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below about the Switch 2. Catch you in the next video.